amiibo. They look great on a shelf, I have to say, and all it takes is one look at the amiibo subreddit to see that a whole mess of people really enjoy collecting these things. But let me let you in on a secret here. Did you know you can train these things? Who knew, right? Yeah, Nintendo snuck this little feature into Smash, and I have to say, I'm really loving it. It's for some reason just really fun to watch your little figurine beat up someone else's figurine. It's like digital cockfighting, only, you know, without the animal cruelty. The competitive amiibo community has been growing a lot in the past few months, and with Nintendo officially sponsoring their first ever amiibo-related event, I've had a lot of questions on how to train an amiibo properly for these tournaments. So, to help out the newer trainers, I'm going to cover several topics that we have been discussing in the amiibo community for the past year, and we're going to be doing it over the next 3 videos. This video is going to cover what you need to know before you even start training. The second will cover the training process itself, and the third will tell you how you can find and participate in competitive amiibo tournaments. Let's start out with the very basics. Your amiibo has an NFC chip at its base. To scan it into the game, you simply go to the Games and More section and then click Amiibo. Just hold your amiibo to either the center of your Pro Controller or the joystick of your right Joy-Con, and boom, the amiibo is scanned in. Once it's scanned in, you're going to be asked to select both an owner and a nickname for your amiibo. The nickname is how everyone's going to see this thing. Don't mess it up. Come up with something good. After that, you're going to be asked to pick your skin, and it's now off to the races. It's important, before you start training your amiibo, that you understand what types of tournaments you plan to send this amiibo to. The main 2 types of tournaments are Spirit tournaments or Vanilla tournaments. Currently, Vanilla tournaments greatly outnumber the Spirit tournaments for reasons I'll get into later this video. The point is, if you plan to send to a Vanilla tournament, you're good to go right now, and it's time to start training. If you're playing in a Spirits tournament though, it's time to get equipped. Let's cover primary spirits first. Every primary spirit has 3 components: stats, type, and ability. When equipping primary spirits, amiibo are only going to inherit the spirit's type and up to 5,000 cumulative stats split between attack and defense. Amiibo will not inherit the ability, and anything over 5,000 total stats just goes out into the ether. For this reason, if you have a powerful spirit that you use to help you win spirit battles, I do not recommend using it to feed your amiibo, as it's not going to benefit from the things that make that primary spirit so powerful. If after feeding it one spirit you aren't up to the 5,000 stat limit, just keep feeding it with the spirits that you want till you have both a mix of attack and defense you want and are hitting the limit. If you wonder what type your spirit should be, don't worry too much about it. As far as typing goes, please remember the typing triangle Daddy Sakurai showed us back in the November 2018 Smash Direct. A day that I remember well, and a day that will live in infamy.
No! Everything you know is a lie! The Grinch just died. How did someone fake that leak? Wait. No.
What? It's fair, I'm playing a...
What? What? No.
An amiibo with the advantage deals 30% more damage to their disadvantaged counterpart. Conversely, they receive 15% less damage from someone who is disadvantaged. Given that you have no control over whom you face in most tournaments, trying to use the rock, paper, scissors style to your advantage is very difficult. For this reason, most people just go with neutral spirits and avoid the problem altogether. But if you want to roll the rock, paper, scissors dice, I don't think I'm actually playing rock, paper, scissors correctly if I'm using dice, but whatever. If you like to use the risky way, do it. If it makes it fun for you, that's the whole point of this, to enjoy it. Do whatever you like. But don't stress too much about your amiibo's type, because for the most part, they're going to go up against neutral spirits and it won't matter. Once you have your spirited amiibo up to 5,000 total stats, it's time to move on to support spirits. There is a whole variety of support spirits out there with various effects to boost your amiibo. Most of them are basic things like increasing the attack power of electrical attacks, defense against air attacks, how fast you move, how heavy you are, basic stuff like that. Others, however, can completely change the way you play your amiibo, like Insta-Drop for example. which gives an amiibo the ability to rocket downwards for quick, sudden attacks. When you pair this up with something like, say, a Jigglypuff, oh yeah, that insta-drop changes everything. Insta-drop into rest combos can be quite deadly, not to mention incredibly satisfying. Before you get too support spirit happy though, do remember a couple of facts. One, there is a cost to having support spirits equipped. Every time you equip a support spirit, your amiibo's total stats get lowered. An amiibo with all 3 support spirit slots filled get their max stats reduced down by 800. So only equip a support spirit if you feel it's worth the trade-off in stats. Also, not all support spirits take up a single slot. While most only take up 1 slot, a few take up 2, and some rare ones even take up all 3. The last thing on support spirits is it's important to know that almost every official spirits tournament bans the use of the following 5 support effects: Super Armor, Slow Super Armor, Armor Knight, Auto Heal, and Greater Auto Heal. Why these 5 are banned is an interesting topic, but not really necessary for today's video. If you'd like to know why these things are banned though, leave a comment below, and if we get enough responses, maybe I'll make a video about the subject. For now though, just don't put them on your amiibo if you want them to participate in competitive scene tourneys. For that reason, this Bowser I just made, yeah, he's banned. Additionally, some other tournaments might have more restrictions, so always be sure to consult your tournament organizer to make sure you're creating a legal amiibo for that tournament. However, if you just want to wreck other people's plans during amiibo journeys, by all means equip whatever you want, the sky's the limit. One thing to be aware of, however, as you feed your amiibo spirits, both support and primary, you see how the personality is changing here as I hover over different spirits? Yeah, each spirit does more than just impart abilities and stats. Spirits actually adjust your amiibo's behavior too. This is why most everyone recommends you feed your amiibo their spirits before you train them, because doing it after you train them means you've essentially overwritten a lot of the work you've done. As for personalities though, that is a topic we will get into at a later date. However, for the purposes of this video, don't focus too much on personality. Personality, like myself, is interesting, but not that important. The last thing you need to know about spirits is, unfortunately, the format's biggest flaw. I could go into the complicated math behind it, but the most important thing to understand is that attack and defense are not created equal. With the way attack and defense are calculated, it takes 25 attack to equal 16.7 defense. Yeah. It means that basically you are going to get a lot more out of putting your points into defense than offense. This has created a problem where you basically only get rewarded by going with all-out defensive builds like the one you see here, where the person has, through the clever use of spirits, gotten their attack into the negatives to get even more defense. Why it's programmed like this, we don't know, but this imbalance on how attack and defense are calculated has led to a spirits meta where basically you just end up watching 2 brick walls attack one another over and over again, with no one dying and things going to the timer. This is the reason vanilla amiibo even really exists as a format. The competitive scene has grown bored of a completely defensive meta. However, the moment they change how attack and defense are calculated to make it so that they're more evenly distributed, expect the Spirits metagame to explode wide open again because of all the wonderful options it has to customize your amiibo and your training approach. Hopefully this helps you understand why we recommend you start off with vanilla amiibo, and then if you want to make it a Spirits amiibo at a later date, you do it then. This is because it's always easier to retrain a level 50 vanilla amiibo to have spirits than the other way around, because the only way to remove spirits from an amiibo to make it vanilla is to just reset your amiibo and to start training it over again from level 1. You know, it doesn't really matter whether or not you choose spirits or vanilla. The important thing is that you pick whichever meta you think you're going to enjoy the most. So don't let anyone tell you, oh no, you shouldn't play that mode is dumb. Who cares about their opinion? The point is to enjoy yourself. Because, hey, that's the point of competition, to make yourself better and to have fun. Speaking of competition though, we're about to dive into the most important topic training. That's right, this is where the rubber meets the road, or plastic figurine, or whatever it is. Until that next video, I hope you all will stay fit, keep sharp, and make good decisions. Splice, out.